How are you?
I'm good.
Your head's a little dirty.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. How old are you?
37.
All right. So what are we talking about? I mentioned a lot. We talked about it's over after 45. Talked about do you feel comfortable discussing sexuality, or what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about relationships and kind of like dating because I kind of suck at it. Um, I'm not the best.
Okay.
I've been in a long-term relationship.
You've been in
That didn't
one?
go too well. Huh?
You've been in a long-term relationship?
Yes. The longest I was in was 13 years.
And how old are you again?
37.
13 years. Were you married?
No.
Any children?
No.
Were the long distance relationship, were you guys living in the same city?
No, it wasn't a long distance relationship. We were actually living together.
Okay. Why didn't you get married?
I don't think he was ready. I'm gonna say that. I'm sorry, I just don't want this to turn off. I don't think he was ready, to be honest with you. And that's the reason why I left the relationship, because I felt like he was just into being young, shopping, and clubbing. And I
How old was
wanted
he?
something more serious.
How old was he?
Same age.
You don't think he was ready? And what year did you discover that he wasn't ready?
Well, I mean, after 13 years and there's no
And in
proposal,
what year, what I'm trying to figure out, in what year did you come to the realization that he wasn't ready?
I would say maybe 10 years into the relationship.
You know how crazy that sounds?
It does. I mean, I was in a relationship very young. I was in a relationship from the age of 17. So,
But you weren't in a marriage.
right.
Why? Okay, if you want to date, you ladies gonna have to get comfortable answering questions about your poor work history.
Okay, I'm open to that.
I'm saying this because if you want to get a job, a wife is a job.
Mhm.
So you're going to go sit down with a prospective employer. You got questions for him. You got standards for him. He's going to ask you, why were you with somebody for 13 years and you say he wasn't ready? Were you ready?
Yeah, definitely I was ready. I
And
mean,
what year?
I would say after the 10-year mark, because I was young, I was more focused on my career as I still am today. I realized that I loved him, I was in love, and I was ready to move
Where
forward.
did you go
So,
to college?
say that again?
Where did you go to college?
No, I didn't go to college, actually.
And then what's your career?
I process payroll for a living.
That's not a career.
It's not a career?
It's a job.
I find it to be a career. I mean, it pays well. I've been doing
You
it
can
for 8 years.
you can call it what you want.
Oh, yeah?
Are you paid hourly?
Yeah.
That's a job.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, a career is something that has upward mobility and usually requires secondary education.
Well, my career does require secondary
Okay, you can call it what you
education.
want to, man. You can
Yeah, I'm
call.
hearing you.
See, why are things like this important? Because women aggrandize things that are normal.
Mhm.
My mother worked in a factory. That wasn't a career. She
Mhm.
made more money than a lot of people who had careers,
Right.
but it wasn't a career.
Mhm.
So when you say I'm focused on my career, I'm wanting to hear attorney, accountant, physician, something where I want to hear things that require focus.
Well, payroll does require focus
No,
when
man,
you
that
use
requires
6,000
eyeballs.
employees. Huh?
Payroll, man, does not require, okay, if you don't want to, look, are there other women who do payroll who are married?
Of course. Everyone in
Then
my
a
field is
goddamn
usually
well, it
married.
doesn't preclude marriage. See, if you were a brain surgeon, a cardiac surgeon, or an oncologist, or a neonatal surgeon, somebody who worked long hours,
Mhm.
then you could talk about your career being first. Because you'd have the money, the prestige, and the social gravitas. You got an hourly job that you have to take some courses for, but it's just a job.
Okay.
So It's nothing to put marriage aside for.
That's interesting.
Well, if it's not, then why are women who were payroll? What's your proper title?
Say it again.
What's your proper title?
A payroll officer.
Payroll officer. Then why are female payroll officers married?
Well, a lot of women that I've worked with have met their husbands in college, and then they just pursue the
Yeah, but my
relationship, and it
point
didn't get.
is, why are they married?
I mean, every woman wants to be married. Who wouldn't want a
But you can
commitment?
be too.
Huh?
You could be too.
If I found the right man that was
No,
respectful.
no, no, ma'am. You're not a wife.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, because you were with somebody for 13 years and didn't require marriage. That's why.
So you think a woman should require marriage?
I think wives require marriage.
And how will she require it? I would love to hear that from you.
Well,
How
she
would she
doesn't
require
fucking
it?
live with
You're teaching me something.
because she doesn't kick it with somebody
Mhm.
for 13 weeks, let alone 13 years, and live with a man
Right.
without y'all was shacking up, right?
Yes.
You were pretending that you were playing husband and wife, but you didn't get the ring, you didn't get the social credit.
Mhm. There was a ring, but I didn't really feel like the ring was something that I could mention, because if your mom buys the ring for you and you give it to me, that doesn't count, right?
Well, what kind of woman would be with a man whose mama got to buy her a ring?
Well, she bought the ring because she got kind of tired of the situation.
What kind of woman would be with a man whose mama buys a ring?
Well, that's why I'm not with him, right? Because that's actually what made me leave him. The fact that his mama would get involved.
But if a higher level man, a husband, would not accept a woman who would accept a man whose mama had to buy a ring.
Uh-huh.
So you're not a wife.
I wouldn't say that.
No,
Yeah,
it's okay.
not all for that. You can't just say that all for that situation.
Yes, I can. Oh, man, yeah, trust me. Everything about you screams not a wife.
Oh my God.
Man,
We have
13 years.
8,000 people watching this. Come on, Kevin.
Man, you lived with somebody for 13 years.
I sent him this video. Hopefully he's watching so he can be embarrassed of himself as well. I'm not a wife because I was with someone for 13 years and didn't require to be married.
Well, that's one thing. Well, you're not a wife. That's just an outcome of it. Were you raised to be a wife?
Well, yeah, actually, I have a mother and father that were married. I was raised with a mother and father that was
No,
married.
no.
Yes.
Were you raised? No, your mother and father were married. Were you raised to be a wife?
I believe I was raised to be a wife.
Okay, if you were raised to be a wife, then how is it that you could accept a man who did not want to marry you? How could you move into a man's house if you didn't have his last name?
It
If
was
you were
actually my apartment.
I don't care. How could you accept women who are wives don't go away with a man who doesn't change their last name and put a ring on it?
I can agree to that. And that's what a part of my growth was, to realize that, to be honest with you.
But if you were raised to be a wife, there wouldn't be any growth necessary.
Well, you know what it is? I have to be honest. I'm an enabler. You know, I actually didn't take my concerns and what I wanted in life and put that as a priority. And it takes time sometimes for some women
No,
to.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, no, what it, no.
No?
No, you were raised to be a single modern woman. You were raised to be a worker. I mean, you picked a man who was beneath you. He moved into your house. 2,000 years ago, would that work?
No.
Then why does it work today? Because you got a payroll clerk job? Payroll officer job?
Wow.
That's a fair question.
You're right. I can't even go against what you're saying. You're absolutely right.
So why didn't you guys have kids?
Well, I don't want to have kids unless I'm married. And if you don't want to marry me, why would I have a child?
So why were you laying up having sex with this man for 13 years in your house?
I had a sexual appetite that I wanted to please.
With a lower level man.
Correct.
Could you get a higher level one though?
Of course. Absolutely.
Could you get a higher level man to do more than just have sex with you?
Yes.
You could get a higher level man to marry you.
Of course. I'm just not open to relationships because I'm afraid. I feel like sometimes my
Stop.
Oh, go ahead.
Stop. Do you listen to the bullshit that's coming out of your mouth? Because it should make your breath stink. You actually you sat here and said that you could get a higher level man. You could get a higher level man to have more than sex with you. You get a higher level man to actually marry you. So you're trying to tell us that you openly accepted a lower level man. For what reason?
I mean,
If what you say is true, then why would you accept a lower level man if you get a higher level man to marry you?
I wasn't thinking that way when I was a young girl, but I'm a grown woman now, and it's.
What makes you think you can get a higher level man? What higher level man is actively vetting you to become his wife?
I have many, actually. I have many.
Y'all hear this shit?
Yeah.
This is the delusion.
What's the delusion? What makes it delusional? The
You
fact
have
that I was
many.
with someone in the past.
Excuse me. I'll tell you. You say you have many high-level men vetting you right now to be their wife.
Yeah.
Most women. Okay. How many?
I'm gonna say about 3.
How old is the oldest?
45.
How old is the youngest?
He's about 26.
He's not a higher level man.
Well, I mean,
No, no. See, guys, look at the hearts. Graduated college, 45. How much does a 45-year-old make?
About 150,000.
What does he do for a living?
He's a skyscraper.
Say again.
Oh man.
Say again. He does what?
I say he's a skyscraper. That's what I said.
What does that mean?
Well, let's just simplify it. He puts elevators into buildings.
You know, a skyscraper is a building.
Well, that's the work he does, sir. That's what he considers himself. That's the job title that he gave, and that's what I'm giving you.
How long have you been seeing this man?
About 6 months.
How many children does he have?
2.
Has he been married before?
No.
But he has 2 kids. How many baby mamas?
2.
Right. So he's a skyscraper. 2 kids, 2 different women, and you're in New York?
Yeah.
Making 150, so that's roughly 75,000. Anywhere else? And then a 26-year-old went to college.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do for a living?
Well, he joined NYPD, so he's actually in classes for that now, which isn't a lot of money because they make probably about 45 a year.
Then how are you calling him a high level man?
Well, I go with the intelligence and how you treat me. I'm not gonna go by your salary because at the end of the day, I
don't give a shit what you go by. That's not what the world goes by.
I'm listening to you because I got on here to get some knowledge from you, you know? So I'm gonna listen to what you gotta say.
Well, all we gotta do is look at your life. You make up your own definitions.
Yeah.
You make up your own rules. You call shit what you want them to. And my question is, when you retire at 65, when you retire at retirement age 65,
mm-hmm.
Are you gonna have your your $2.4 million you're gonna need there between 65 and 85?
No.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna sit here and say yes.
Then who's gonna pay for you?
Well, I mean, I have goals in life that I'm working on.
Yeah, ma'am, you're 37. Who's gonna pay for you? I ask you, when you get to be 65 and life is on the way being over, there is no more goals in life. You're a senior citizen.
Uh-huh.
Who's going to pay for you? No husband, no kids. Who's going to pay?
Well, it's whatever I have at that point, what I've done.
And
For
when the
myself.
money runs out,
Right.
And you can't pay your rent, what happens?
I don't think it's going to get to that level.
Oh yeah, it will. Yes, it will. See, that's why I asked you, you're going to need your 2.4 million because you're going to have to live for 20 years. You're going to have to pay your rent. You're going to have to pay your utilities, groceries, elder care. Money runs out. If you don't have enough money and it runs out, that means you can't pay something. Your biggest bill is your rent. When you can't pay your rent, what happens? When anyone can't pay their rent, what happens?
They get evicted.
Right. Then where do you go?
I don't see my life like that.
I don't give a shit. Where do you go if you get evicted?
I mean, to the streets, a shelter.
Right. Thank you. And see, this is why none of these women foresee being evicted on the street. They're not going to have the money because if you had a career, you should be able to take care of yourself because if you've chose to be unmarried, that means you've chose to take on the financial responsibilities by yourself. That means you got to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And if a man was in your position and couldn't pay for it, where would he end up?
Same place I'll end up, right on the streets.
But why do men understand this and y'all think you think so you can't honestly, so let's just say in my scenario, you don't have the money. Let's just say you have half the money. Let's just say you got 1.2 million, which we know that's not true. Let's just say you got it. Mm-hmm. You can't work anymore.
Okay.
Where do you think it's going to come from? The money.
That's what retirement plans are for.
Ma'am, I don't care what you call it. It totals up to a certain amount of money.
Right.
If you got half of what you need, call it whatever you want to. Mm-hmm. Where's the other part going to come from? See, I'm not laughing. I'm talking to a 40-year-old woman. And y'all are chuckling like this is a game.
It's not a game.
But
you're
yeah, you
there's
laugh.
No answer for it. There's no
yeah,
answer.
it is. You mean you'll be eating cat food, dog food. You'll be homeless. You're in New York City. It's called the street. This world is not set up for average earning payroll officer women to live by themselves.
Well, I don't work for a little company, so
I don't care. Do you make more than 6 figures?
No.
Do you make more than 90,000?
Yes.
Less than 100?
No.
You make more than 90,000 a year?
Yes, I do.
Less than 100?
No, I do not.
Then you make 6 figures?
My love, I make 150,000.
This woman I just asked you make 6 figures. She said no. You can get.
We on Instagram, and I don't know who's watching to be knowing my salary.
Nobody gives a shit what you make, man. It's $75,000 adjusted. That ain't no money in New York City.
No, I make no 75,000. I make 100.
Rent adjusted. I used to live in New York City, and I know how much it costs. I'm in New York City every month. Rent. How much is your rent? Rent is around $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. So you can make 150. You still ain't gonna have enough money to live. You pay you pay federal tax, state tax, city tax. Mm-hmm. You're not talking to somebody who don't know what they're talking about.
I respect what you're saying.
You respect it or not, man, but the bottom line is you are choosing to be an unmarried woman out here. You better be able to pay for yourself between 65 and 85 because the government ain't doing it. There won't be Social Security. Whatever you make, whatever you invest is what you got to live on. And if you run out of money, just like if we run out of money, you will be on the street.
No, I have a lot of resources. I highly doubt that.
Exactly. They always think somebody else. This is why I always think somebody else is going to pay for it. A lot of resources. But the one resource you don't have is a husband and family. And that's my ultimate point. You lived with a man for 13 years and wasted 13 years of building a network and a family and the security and the social safety net. So now you got to talk this shit like you got a career and you're making money. You got all these resources. And you're just a chick with a payroll officer job. Congratulations.
I mean, I will congratulate myself because actually.
Of course you will. Of course you will. They always congratulate themselves because they.
Why wouldn't I?
Because man, it ain't gonna work. Congratulate yourself if you know you're going to have your retirement money when you're at 65. Until then, there is nothing to be congratulated on. But see, this is what happens when we give 8th place trophies. And we tell everybody that they're a winner and everybody there's a queen. We tell women that don't matter and they think that they won't be the one. They can't comprehend of a world to where they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Man, every day I talk to women in your position.
Right.
I don't think it's funny because I listen to women like yourself and y'all don't understand how dire of a situation you're in. That's how blind y'all are.
I'm not blind and I'm not dumb and I'm not stupid. I do have things on the table that I know I'm going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Investments? So things on the table, you come from money?
No, but I'm going to have a nice big check when I'm done with my lawsuit. So I'm okay.
Oh, a lawsuit.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm okay. Yeah. I have my own organization. I do contracts on the side. So